Oh, and it's also the 66th anniversary of His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj coming to the lotus feet of Srila Guru Maharaj at Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math. He offering himself, Atma Nivedanam. Sridhar Swami is parsing the Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, which comes from Prahlad Maharaj, saying, and it was iti pung sarpita Vishnu bhakti chain navalakshana navabhakti. There's swa atma arpanam, Sva Atma Arpanam, offering yourself, self-offering. This comes from Prahlad Maharaj, and Sridhar Swami there is saying, this is the criterion whether or not something is devotion or not. Is Addo Arpita Paschad Kriyeta. Beginning, middle, and end for Krishna. That's real devotion. Beginning, middle, and end. Like Gurudev, sometimes someone would give a donation to him on their way out. He didn't refuse it, but he'd say, I remember one thing, he goes, Avadut Maharaj gave the first day he arrived. He's not giving me what's left over, what he couldn't spend. He's accepting that. It's a type of offering. Philanthropists, after they've made billions, trillions, right? Now let's do something to help everybody. It's a nice gesture. I don't mean to mock it. The gesture, it's going in the right direction. But how will you help people? Right? What will really help them? When Guru Maharaj was talking once, and our beloved Parbat Maharaj, meaning Bhuvan Mohan Prabhu, Tapashri Maharaj, at the time he's listening to Guru Maharaj, he said, oh, in that voice, I'm just thinking about these innocent people. Yeah. And Guru Maharaj, like I'm feeling something for the innocent people. And Guru Maharaj said, there are no innocent people. And all these devotees started like giggling or something. And they're like, there aren't? What about that little baby who was just crawling on the floor? They look kind of innocent and cute. Right? Ask their mother how innocent they are. They go, this one? He's a monster. He's a nightmare. He's, the personification of selfishness. Right? So Guru Maharaj, in that instance, he said, there are no innocent. He said, we've all betrayed our Lord. Like that. That's why we're in this world. Bayam ditiya binibeshitatsya ipadapetasya viparyayo smriti. And forgetfulness, that word is used there, asmriti. Forgetting who our Lord is and what His nature is. That's why philosophical systems, however well intended, that deny the personality of Godhead, it's soul killing, because our whole aspiration, what we're searching for, what we want to express and appreciate, not a possibility towards something impersonal. You can't love the sky, right? You can say, wow, it's overwhelming. You can appreciate it on some level, but love means something personal, reciprocal. Love and affection. Loving, affectionate dealings. Right? Soft, sweet, beautiful, all those things. How can the source of everything soft, sweet, and beautiful not be extra soft? Right? So that the Braja Gopis are they're thinking, Krishna's lotus feet are so soft. We're thinking, in contact with us, we're rough in comparison. And they're worried about that. The softness of Krishna, the sweetness, the beauty, the movement, the beauty of movement, the beauty of sound. Movement enriched with beauty, dance. Sound enriched with beauty, music, song. One person made an observation about poetry, called it musical thought. It's thought, but with some musical, appealing musical, it's charming. Not just like thought and deep thought, but there's some musical aspect to that. Again, pointing towards the sweet absolute, the original position. So we hear, when did Prahlad say Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam? When Hiranyakashipu put his son on his lap, smelling his head, and, my dear Prahlad, what's the best thing you learned in school? I always ask children that. What is a modern child? They always almost give the same answer. They go, I don't know. They're that thrilled about it. I don't know. And they don't want to know. They know somehow that this is a bunch of, fill in your own word there, right? Insubstantial substance, right? Refuse. But Prahlad, Hiranyakashipu, what's the best thing you learned, Prahlad? Sravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Bandhanam Dasyam Sakyam Atmani Vedanam. To hear about Krishna, glorify Krishna, remember Krishna. What? You must have been to the Hare Krishna Center. What happened? What kind of child was Prahlad? We're told when you do the alphabet, like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. In Sanskrit, it's kaka. What is it? Kaka jajana, papa baba ma, yaralava. Right. Ka, 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 ba, 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 ba. No, they don't do it like that, but it's like a ka is the first syllable. When Prahlad would say ka, he would think ka, Krishna. He'd faint in remembrance of Krishna. That's his Vishnu Smaranam. That the syllable ka would remind him of Krishna. So when Srila Guru Maharaj is asked, what shall be my service? Now I'm here in a spiritual center, in a spiritual place. I want to engage in spiritual culture. What service should I do? What will be my seva? Srila Guru Maharaj said, to acquire the proper angle of vision, right type of seeing, that's what you're to do. To learn to see properly, accurately, acquire the proper angle of vision, sambandha gyan, dibya chakshu, Krishna to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna, what you need to see, you can't see right now, because your vision right now is clouded with all sorts of misconception about who you are, what the world is, what your place is in the world. So what I am telling you and what you need to see, you can't see with those eyes. Right. So, dibya chakshu, I'm giving you divine eyes, a divine way of seeing. Ajnana timrandasya, jnananjana salakaya, chaksurun militam jena, tasmai shri gurave namaha. The primal Guru mantra. It's about acquiring the proper angle of vision. Some expression from the disciple about that. some appreciation, some gratitude expressed. And what we get from Guru, there's a famous verse, what is it? Akaksharam, like one syllable from Guru. If you offer the world as pranami, it won't be enough. And two things come to my mind. You'd say, well, that's like a poetic way of speaking. Of course, so many things will come from Guru. But if we take it that what you get from Guru, like Om or the Vedic mantra, everything's in there, right? Radha, Krishna, Jiva, those mystical explanations of Om, the Omkar being Pranava Sarva Vedeshu. In Gita, Krishna is saying, I'm the Pranava Omkar. That's me. Right? So even that one, so when they say one word from Guru, it's like metaphorical and literal at the same time. What do you get from Guru? The syllable that indicates Krishna, whether it's Om, Ka, or Krishna. Right? What we get from Guru must be Krishna and nothing less than Krishna. Right? So, and it reminds me, always consistent, thematic, the thread going through everything. Gurudev saying so perfectly. Some of the many things he says, they're so simple and almost casual that you might not catch it or devalue it. But he said, without any big announcement, he said, one word from Guru Maharaj is sufficient to make us his slaves forever. He said, oh, well, that's said from the heart of he said, Maharaj, you said, I'm a fanatic for my Guru Maharaj. I like that. You identified me as a fanatic, fanatical follower, a fan, to the extreme. Yes, for being fanatical for the truth, that's a good thing. Right? Non-compromising, except in the context of mercy over justice. Right? Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram, truth, auspiciousness, beauty, Sundaram, Sundar Anandam, love, affection. So we're told sometimes don't speak an unpleasant truth. That's there. Yeah. In the relative sense. Right? So he's saying one word, Ka, in the case of Prahlad Maharaj, means Krishna. He's got the right angle of vision. He traces everything back to the central conception of the infinite. Right? That's that principle will be in play throughout the pastimes of the Prahlad Charit, the pastimes of Prahlad Maharaj in relation to Nrsimhadev. Remember that. It comes in the beginning and flying color in the end. Right? This ability to trace everything back to the central conception of the infinite. Deep reading, the ultimate deep reading. Right? That every circumstance, everything, including the finite, can be traced back to the central conception of the infinite, particularly with the Aprakrita Leela of Krishna, where the ultimate expression of divinity and spiritual principle is taking on apparently mundane character, quality, character, limitations. You know, Vaikuntha, unlimited, the Kunta world, limitations. From the limited position, from the apparent finite position, the infinite expressing itself. That we learn here. We learn that from Srila Guru Maharaj's divine analysis of these pastimes. So, and their pastimes, Leela. Right? to when Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadev, after all, having this discussion, and Parikshit Maharaj listening very carefully with great scrutiny, when he hears about the Kumaras cursing the gatekeepers of Vaikuntha, Jai and Vijay, and that they fall in the material world, he said, I can't digest this. That someone who's spiritually situated, they'll fall from that position and enter the mundane world. It needs some explanation. Guru Maharaj tells us quite simply, that the only way souls come into this world is either from the Tatastha Shakti, Tatastha Jivas, from the margin, the marginal position, situated between the spiritual and the mundane. Serve in heaven, reign in hell. Reign in hell, all right, all the reign in hell group, like stand over here on the left side. You know. Satanic mania. I'll find fulfillment, satisfaction, self-realization through an egocentric existence, where I'm at the center of everything, and the value of everything is measured in terms of whether or not it fulfills what I envision as being enjoyable or self-enriching. And what shall I do? I'll try to extend the circumference of my egocentric world. I told what David Foster Wallace called, you know, being lords of your skull-sized kingdom. He told that in his commencement address to the students. The famous fish story. Don't worry, I'm not going to get into it. Yeah. But that's what being lords of our skull-sized kingdoms. There he tapped into something. What Saraswati Thakur would call puppy brain. Right? Like the way little puppies discover things. They go out and they usually they put it in their mouth. Sometimes what they're putting in their mouth is like stool. And they're wondering, is this food? Is this good? And, you know, they're sitting, they're analyzing. They're like little scientists, those puppies. The future scientists of the world. Right? Puppy brain, lords of the skull-sized kingdom. Right? The egocentric world, as opposed to the theocentric world. Right? What's another name for egocentrism? Humanism, as Solzhenitsyn called it. The disastrous deviation of the Enlightenment. And the irony of it, this is andhatama. The darkness of ignorance is being cast as enlightenment. They're the enlightenment thinkers. Who, what did they do? It's like what Krishna says to Arjuna in 16th chapter about the demoniac engage in unbeneficial, horrible works that end up destroying the world in the name of the advancement of civilization, progress, enlightenment. What is that? Ishwaroham aham bogi siddho hum balavan sukhi. Krishna, he also does impersonations. Right? He's doing an impersonation of a mundane person. And he says, what do they say? Iswaroham, I'm in control, I'm the controller. You've got to take control of your life. And we've got a program here for $29.95. Right? Iswaroham aham bogi, I'm the enjoyer. Siddhoham, I'm perfect. Balavan, I'm powerful. Balavan, Sukhi, and I'm happy. Can I help it if I'm lucky? Right? It's Krishna's impersonation of a demoniac, an asura, a mundaner. Right? So Solzhenitsyn called it the disastrous deviation of the Enlightenment. What did they do 500 years ago? Plus, you know, give it a few years. He's saying they eliminated God and put man in the center and said, man shall be the measure of all things. Previously, man was measuring self towards the divine. We don't know if there's any God. Come on, be honest. You don't really know that. You believe it, and you know, and your faith isn't even strong. But what you do, you know, I know you exist, and you know I exist, right? Cogito ergo sum. So you tell me what you think is important. I'll tell you what I think is important, and we'll work something out. Doesn't that make sense? Come on. You know this is the way we should live. And we're going to have to measure ourselves up to some imaginary God that we don't know exists, and whether we're pleasing him or not, or displeasing. What kind of a life is that? Right? So, but you know what pleases you, I know what pleases me. Let's work something out. The disastrous deviation of the Enlightenment, where they removed God, eliminated God, God is dead, and established man as the measure of all things. And in time, when the women squawk too much, they go, oh, well, women too, minorities too, gender equality, we're going to extend this to everybody. Right? It's democracy, it's multicultural, pluralistic, expialidocious. That's what it is. It's word jugglery. It's concept jugglery. We're you know, concept brokers. Guru Maharaj had a word for it too. He called it extended selfishness. So they think, yeah, is this like Ayn Rand telling us to be. It's funny, the Russians don't even know who Ayn Rand is. But she's a Russian woman from Petersburg who went to America and hit the big time. So there's all these conservative American political thinkers, they're under the influence of a woman from Petersburg. You know that can't be good. Right? I'm kidding. But I mean, it's true. And her thing is about, even some atheists said, Christopher Hitchens said about her, he said, do we need someone to write a book telling us we should be more selfish? Even he thought this was absurd. Right? That's her philosophy ultimately. It's like the ultimate selfishness. He's saying you don't have to think about anybody else, you don't owe anybody anything. If you decide to give something to somebody, that's your decision, but you don't owe any, you're just an autonomous unit, right? Who should live, the way you should measure everything is, does it promote more of you and who you are and what you want? So even the great atheist, Christopher Hitchens, said, did we need someone to write a book telling us we need to be more selfish? He even thought it was absurd. So Guru Maharaj calls it extended selfishness. When you say, well, not for me, but for my family. Okay? Oh, not just for, I mean, for my community, for my country, right? For the world, right? For the universe. Right? But what does Chanakya say? Sacrifice an individual to save the family. Sacrifice a family to save the community. Sacrifice a community to save the country. Sacrifice a country to save the world. But you may have to sacrifice the world to save yourself. Right? That sounds selfish too, unless it's spiritual culture, right? Theocentric. I'm giving up the world, or offering the world, yukta vairagya, offering the world towards the absolute center. Right? see everything in this world, trace its position back to the absolute center. That's the proper angle of vision. And that's what Prahlad does. But when Pariksit Maharaj says this, I don't understand this, how these eternal servitors can fall into the egocentric world. Guru said, only out of a necessity of Leela, pastimes. If a king wants to spar, fight, who gets to do that? A man from, we go, all right, go get some, go down to the local Gold's Gym and finds like some nasty boxer. No, one of his own men volunteers for that. So the king fights with his own man. And he wants his own man to give him his best shot. They do that. So if Krishna wants to play in this way, it'll have to be his own men. So then we find out Jai and Vijay, they're extraordinary. Remember, in Mahaprabhu's Leela, they're Jagai and Madhai. They even have a place there too. Right? Where they're told 3 births you'll have to take. Because they saw these 4 Kumaras, these great sages, as little boys, like precocious little boys, and saying, you cannot enter Vaikuntha. I mean, are you kidding? We're like carry Vaikuntha. We distribute Vaikuntha. We're Vaikuntha distributors. Unlimited. But, so they're cursed, and who do they appear as? Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, Dantavakra, Ravana and Kumbhakarna, and Shishupal and Dantavakra. And when as Shishupal, Prahlad saying the alphabet is remembering Krishna. What's Shishupal doing? As a toddler, he's offending Krishna. We know, like little kids say sometimes really offensive things and embarrass their parents. Shishupal is always like, as a toddler, offending Krishna. He was obsessed with Krishna even as a baby. And that Pariksit Maharaj says too, interesting. As you're telling me the answer about Jai and Vijay, it's very peculiar that what you're saying is, if someone becomes absorbed in thinking of Krishna, for whatever the reason, they score, they benefit from that. So in this case, it was like hatred, just obsessive, compulsive hatred of someone. He's saying, yeah, and what kind of a meditation was that? They were totally absorbed. And he's saying, look at the gopis. They're thinking Krishna is this boy who they're madly in love with. It's calm. It appears to be like lust in this world. They're fully absorbed. He gives many different examples. So he's saying, yes, that these 3 births they take as these 3 demonic sets of demonic personalities. They're like totally absorbed and thinking about Krishna, as is Hiranyakashipu. Right? Now, like we had this devotee years ago in New York who would write plays, and he knew like the Broadway plays, musicals. All of our plays at ISKCON in New York were musicals. By Nayana Biram, this devotee, and he'd write like a Broadway play, he'd turn it into, take a pastime and write something like that. And for the delight of the devotees, and Prabhupada would watch these plays in his rocking chair, and so it was fun. But I can't, what was one of his lines for this play? The singer, like a Greek chorus, the singers would come out and they'd go, Hiranya means gold, Kashipu means soft bed, grant me this boon that I'll never drop dead. Never drop dead, that's what I said. And then the play would go on. So he had the mastery of like how to tell the story in a very simple way. So we hear Hiranyakashipu interested in 2 things. Gold, Hiranya, Kashipu, a nice bed, and everything that goes with it. Right? So he is performing austerities, and just like the Shudraka that Ramachandra dealt with If an unqualified person performs austerities, they also accumulate some power. It's not that they don't get something, but they can't handle it. There's a problem. It's like giving a loaded gun to a madman. So Hiranyakashipu accumulates all these austerities. The whole universe is being affected by it. It's gone outward from his center. Now the circumference of his egocentricity is encompassing the universe. Right? And remember this, later Guru Maharaj will say, what is the infinite? Everywhere center, nowhere circumference. He uses a statement of Pascal to allude to Krishna conception. Anyway, Brahma has to come. Hiranyakashipu is on his tiptoes doing this intense yoga for like 1,000 celestial years. There's an anthill that's formed around him. All of his flesh is gone. But the soul still maintaining like the skeletal remains of him. He's intense. That's intense austerity. Right? The whole body, just some skeletal, still the pran is there maintaining. Brahma descends, we're told, he carries a kamandalu, sprinkles some nectar on him, the form comes back and he's saying, what sort of a boon can I offer you? He's saying, immortality. I saw Avadut's Kumbh Mela film. I want immortality. Really, you saw it? Yeah, I can see things in the future. But I thought they're editing it. Just follow me here. They can do that. Trikaligya. Can see past, present, and future. And he said, I want immortality. Doesn't everybody? And Brahma saying, well, if you study the Vedas carefully, you'll notice 14 planetary systems that I'm the Lord of and had something to do in their creation, generation, manifestation, maintenance, and annihilation, which Mahadev Shiv takes care of later. There are earth years, there are celestial years, there's Maharjana Tapasatya, all these different lokas, the years start, what's a year in each place expands. So in Brahmaloka, we're told the average life duration of someone in Brahmaloka, 15 trillion years. Right? So we hear, and Brahma though, 300 trillion plus. So he's saying, even I die. What happened when that person came to see Brahma once from the middle planetary systems? So he's entered Brahmaloka where you talk about jet lag and a time difference. Right? So he's there and Brahma's watching heavenly dancing girls and they say, as soon as the dance is over, Lord Brahma will see you. Like, oh, okay. Wow, this is great. He's watching that. Then the dance, Brahma says, how can I help you? Then he realizes with the time difference, he's saying, well, the people I was concerned about, they died hundreds of thousands of years ago. It was only 15 minutes here, but back there, so forget it. All right. So, Brahma's time, he's saying, look, I'm not immortal. So how can I grant you immortality? I myself, at the end of those 300 trillion years, I'll also die. Brahma Bhuva Gita. Brahma Bhuvanaloka Punar Aratunojana. Mamupetya. What is it? No, Punar Janma Navidyate. Is that there? Yeah. So, Hiranyakashipu, and this shows demonic mentality, like insurance policy. So people realize the world is mortal, right? And so there's an ad saying, showing like a beautiful wife with lovely children, and you're saying, have you thought of what would happen if you weren't here? And then, you know, life insurance. How will they go on? And you know, so what is Hiranyakashipu negotiating with his cleverness, his mundane intelligence? A life insurance policy. All right, if you can't grant me immortality, how about I won't be killed by a man or a beast in the day or the night, by a weapon, by a human, by a beast. He goes through the whole list. Check, 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 check. And he's saying, ha ha, you don't realize you just gave me immortality. In another way. And Brahma's saying, we'll see about that. Any rate, fast forwarding to Prahlad. Right. What does he say in the Gita? Of the Daityas, the Daitya demons, I'm the devoted Prahlad. Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gita. Everything's connected and interconnected. So when Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad, he said, the best thing I've learned in life is that hearing, chanting, remembering Krishna, this is what life's all about, actually. This is what it's meant for. This is why you have senses. Right? What does the Bhagavatam say? Dharmak swanushtitak pungsang visvak sena katasuya notpariyed yadavritim srama eva hi kevalam. If the end result of whatever it is you're doing, the end result is not increased interest. Is this on? Oh, okay. Increased interest and becoming interested and like developing a taste, Vasudeva Kata Ruchi, for hearing about Krishna, then what? Srama eva hi kevalam. How does Prabhupada translate it? A useless waste of time. It's why you're a human being. It's not an option. Right? Spiritual culture is not an option. Well, it is from one point of view, but from another point of view, it's saying, no, this is why you're gifted human life. So what does Prahlad tell the students? Komara achare pragyo dharmam bhagavatani ha. Manusham artadam nityam. This human life, it's short. Right? 50 years, you know, if you figure it out, half of your life sleeping, taking care of the body, doing those kind of things. How much time do you actually have for spiritual culture? It's very little. What is Prahlad's advice? Take it up as soon as possible. Preferably in childhood. Right? If you can get a grasp of Krishna consciousness, some interest, some exposure to the pastimes of Krishna when you're a child, you'll carry that with you throughout your life. Gurudev said, we've heard so many things from the scriptures, but all these wonderful stories with that are not normally what you hear, or they're a little sweeter, or a little more embellished and enhanced. He said, where do we hear them from? The aunties and the grandmas of our childhood. They told us these stories about Krishna and others. And he said, and then when he saw Garga Sangita, he said, oh, this is where those stories come from. Because some of them are a little extreme, unusual, not what we typically hear. Handed down by the grandmas and the aunties telling the little children those stories. Prahlad saying, this is how you should live your life. Right? We're hardwired for story. Right? What do they say in the money? If you want to tell the truth, write fiction. Right? Art is a lie that tells the truth. It doesn't matter whether it actually happened or not, although it did. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, netihasa nikalpanam. It's not historical in the objective sense. Well, it's not imaginary either. But nitya lila, it reveals itself in this plane for some time and then withdraws. Although someone, you know, a Bhagavatam interpreter can say, well, the pastimes of all these incarnations, they happen during creation. Whereas Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila, that's going on in Goloka and there. What did Guru Maharaj say? Well, like, what is it like in Goloka Vrindavan? He said, do they have demons there? And he said, well, like posters, like to scare people, pictures. They're not really there, but some representation on some level. Or what's the excitement of Gokula Vrindavan? There actually are asuras there, but the part being played by a great devotee, like that Shakatasura, descent of who? One of the Dwadasha Gopals, appears, Shanka-chuda, that's what I'm thinking of, to terrify the gopis, to swell the progress of the pastime. Prahlad, Matirna Krishna, and when they're saying, so how do you get this Krishna consciousness you speak of, Prahlad? They're saying, the teachers, Prahlad's teachers are saying, we didn't train him in this way. We did not do that. And Prahlad telling Hiranyakashipu, yeah, don't worry about it. Matirna Krishna padatak svatoba mitopi badyeta grihavratanam. People in this world, they can't give you Krishna consciousness. They don't arouse your Krishna consciousness. And who does he mean by the people of the world? He said, grihavratanam. They've made a vow to be here. They don't want to give up. Right? To the last minute, they're trying to extend their life a few more moments. Right? Why did Ramachandra behead Shudraka performing those austerities? He said, because a Shudra shouldn't be performing austerities. Well, what's a Shudra? Guru Maharaj said, at the root of the word means one who wails, cries, wailing lament. And Guru Maharaj said very simply, who will voice the wailing lament? One who's accepted this world is all in all. Right? That there's no possibility of a life anywhere else. Tantarajan marishyeti pashubudhim imam jahi. After all those high things, 10th canto, Rasa Lila, pastimes of Krishna, Uddhava Gita, everything, what does at last Sukadev tell the Pariksit Maharaj? Give up the animal mentality. Telling that to the mighty Pariksit? Well, it's also part of the pastime. But what does he think? What's animal? Pashubudhi? Fear of death. And we'll go like, well, wait a minute, I'm afraid to die too. Yeah, on this standard, that's Pashubudhi. So, Guru Maharaj will point, even Socrates said, give me the hemlock. It's not going to kill me, it's going to kill my body. I'll go on living. He had that much faith. That's like the beginning stage, the basis, ahang brahmasmi, of spiritual culture, of Advaita Vedanta, and what's known as Indian philosophy. Ahang brahmasmi. I'm Brahma. I'm spirit. Spirit doesn't die when the body dies. Dehi nosmin yata dehe komaram jovanam jara. Tata dehantara prapti dhiras tatra namuyati. Krishna telling Arjuna, the dhira, sober, undisturbed by a world of endless distraction. They're not, when the body goes, they take it in stride. Because they know the soul was the constant passenger in that machine. Yantra rudrani mayaya. Right? Karanam gunasango asya sadasha, and also another place. Anyway, what is it? Yantra, a yantram. It's like a machine. I always like in Russia, whenever I hear car and they say machine, they call cars machines, and it reminds me of this sloka. So every time I hear that, I'm happy. Reminds me that the body is a machine. And I used to say that to people. If you pull into a petrol stop, or in Russia it's benzene, right? So I say like, if that's for the car, but when they say, can I get you anything else? Yeah, give me a liter of benzene too. I need some nourishment. That's not going to work. What's fuel for the car, the benzene you give to the machine, that's not the food for the soul. That's poison to the passenger. That's what we're told. What does he say? Nate vidu sartakatim hi Vishnu. Yea, one of the Artamanina, Bahir Artamanina, Anda Yatandaya Upagiyamana, Tepisha Tantram, Urudamni Badha. Again, remember, this whole thing's going in a direction. He's saying, the cover, that's not where the substance is. This theme is going consistently through Prahlad Charit and ends up in flying colors. He's saying the people, they're riveted to the externals, superficial things. When they told Thoreau, like, we've got a transatlantic cable. This was like the internet of the day. I'm saying we can send messages from New York to London and back and forth. It's going to be great. Just think of the knowledge transfer, the data and he said, what if the news is that the princess has a cold? Like, he thought, it'll probably just deteriorate into like insignificant, trivial things being exalted because of the method of transmission. Like anticipating the social network and everything associated with it. And we're also on Facebook. You can like us now. Right? But so, Nate vidu shartagatim hi Vishnu. The sha-arta, what's the real thing to be understood? They're missing with all this attention to the external, missing the substantial thing within. But what's the Bhagavatam example in the 10th canto? Beating the husk. We've seen the ladies do that in India at the mat, where they're whacking these, rice patty and hitting it there, and then what happens? The rice comes out. And then they do that other thing, right? But the reason that example is given is saying, so if you take the husk after the rice kernel's been separated and you're trying to get, that's not going to work. It's not going to deliver the substance you're searching for. That requires another type of culture, another type of seeing. You need to acquire another type of vision. Shastra Chaksu, seeing through the eyes of revealed truth. Dibya Chakshu, divine eyes. Upanayan, that's what you get from Guru. Right? And what do you say? Andan yatan daya upani yamana tepishatantam urudamni badha. Saying, what's going on in the world? The blind leading the blind. What will be the end result? They fall in a ditch. What's the old poem? It was 6 men of Hindustan who learned, and learning and whatever, inclined to be. 6 blind men of Hindustan. The poem. The blind men and the elephant. And what do you see? One's feeling the trunk. It's very curved, it's very serpentine, like a giant python. That's what an elephant is. Someone else with the tail, someone with the thigh, and they're all... Is it not some sort of wall, this elephant? Right? That's what they're doing. Right? Or with advanced technology. Still, like they mock the phrenologists of the 19th century. You know what phrenology, you see the pictures where they show the head and it's divided into all these sectors and they're different colors. Right? And they go, oh, these people were so stupid in the 19th century. Now what do we have? Scanners. And what do they show you in a scanner? A brain with different colors. See, when the red area lights up, wait, this sounds awfully familiar. It's the same thing. Plus ça change, plus ça la même chose. For our French people in the audience. The more things change, the more they remain the same. Right? Puna charvata charvananam. Prahlad says, chewing the chewed. I used to think about this, how relevant Prahlad's instructions are. Do you know when he gave them? Approximately 150 trillion years ago. Some things never change, huh? 150 trillion years ago. What he talked about is relevant now, right? In the 21st century. Someone misunderstood when I said Krishna consciousness is 21st century theism. They said, well, no, it's eternal. It's this. That's not what I was saying. I was saying it's relevant in the 21st century. Don't think because it's old, it's irrelevant in the modern world. That's what I was saying. It's 21st, it's for now. And it'll be 21st, 22nd, etc. That's irrelevant, but that was the point being made. The transcendental teachings of Prahlad Maharaj, they're still true. What did Prabhupada love these slokas? Janmaitunadi grihamedi sukham hitucham. When Prahlad's railing against, mundane sensuality. Prabhupada really had fondness for all those slokas. Once Gurudev told me, what is that Babaji at the mat? Advaita? Sometimes Gurudev said, he knows so many slokas. And he said, especially like the let's just say anti-mundane eroticism slokas. He said, you should hear, like, don't get him started. He never said a word. But he'd like sort of wander around the mat, but Gurudev said, don't be deceived. He knows like a billion slokas. Right? So does Prahlad Maharaj. Right? What are there? Maya Sukhaya Baramud Vahato Vimudhan. The apparent happiness of illusion. Maya Sukhaya. Prabhupada said once, he said, it takes, to drive from New York to Boston, it takes like 2 hours. He said, and we know this in Russian, Peter, now we're learning, what's it called? What's the name of that fast train? The Hawk? Subsan? Yeah. It sounds Japanese to me, like, oh, Subsan, yeah, very good, fast train, But he said it takes, if you want to go to the airport in New York, it takes around 2 hours to drive to the airport, to catch a 1 hour flight, to go to Boston, 2 hours to get to the temple. It takes 5 hours. But we're thinking, oh, I'll get on the plane and fly from New York to Boston. He said, Maya Sukhaya Baramud Vahato Vimudhan. He said, this is what is meaning by Maya Sukhaya. All these apparent conveniences. Again, like in the book, The Wonder That Was India, or Mother India, one of those like horror, one of the worst books ever made, right? They show these Indian village people, and they're like, they have this dazed look on their face, and they go, Shaib is going to show us how to drink water. Shaib, the white people, they're going to, they've been living there for 10,000 years, whatever. Now, Shaib will show us how to, yeah, Shaib really showed you how to drink water. Now you can't drink any of the water in India, or anywhere else for that matter. Because Shaib showed us. Right? How to pollute the water, how to pollute the air, how to pollute the ether. And what? On top of it all, in the name of what? The advancement of civilization. Right? Yeah. That's Maya Sukhaya. And what else is so that next sloka, well, we did that. Matirna Krishnena Tevitu. But the third, then what's the solution? We're just going to sit around here and go all negative? Right? Nai samatistava rukramangrim sprashatyanartad pagamo yadarta mahi yasham padarajobhishekam niskinchananam navrinityavat. Then what do you need to do? You need to take a bath. You need to be bathed in the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava. When Ban Maharaj came back from the West, half converted, minus the sika, the dress of a sannyasi, etc. And they received them at the dock in Bombay. Prabhupada's there, Swami Maharaj, Guru Maharaj, others. And they're like, he's flanked by 2 Germans he collected. What they're going like? And Bon Maharaj says, they ask questions that cannot be answered. And Prabhupada Swami Maharaj said, what are those questions? Pressed him. What are those questions that can't be answered? And one by one, Guru Maharaj answered the questions. And at the end, after Guru Maharaj answered all these questions that cannot be answered, that's when Swami Maharaj said, today, Europe has been defeated by Asia. When they said to Mahatma Gandhi, Gandhiji, what do you think about Western civilization? He said, I think it would be a good idea. Even he wasn't seduced by this nonsense. Right? That all focus on the superficial. That what did Oscar Wilde do with The Importance of Earnest, his famous comedy? So he makes all trivial things are treated with the utmost importance, and all important things are treated totally as insignificant and trivial. That's part of the purpose of him presenting that. To show how the highest class people were giving the greatest amount of importance to the most trivial, insignificant, inane things. And that was before what we have now. That was 100 years ago when he wrote that. Right. What did Solzhenitsyn say? They invited him to give the commencement address at Harvard. And they thought, now Alexander Prabhu is going to tell us how great America is and how much he loves living here and how horrible Russia, you know, like, they invite him to the best school in America, the most prestigious school, and say, like, address the graduating students. And what does he say? He said, Harvard's motto is veritas, which means truth. He said, so forgive, sometimes the truth isn't always totally palatable, back to that Vedic saying. He said, so forgive me if I give you a little bit of bitter truth today. He's saying, but don't get me wrong, I could never recommend what I came from, that model. He said, but what you're offering here is something less than the dignity of man. I'm sorry. And without going into the whole thing, one of the things he said was, he said, you have, while you have so much freedom to express, you know, freedom of speech, this, that, and the other thing, he said, you've sacrificed the sacred right not to hear certain things, not to have your soul stuffed with polluted misconceptions, trivial nonsense. That you've sacrificed along the way. And that's a sad thing. In the name of freedom of expression, so much untruth and inane nonsense is being stuffed into the souls of people. Right? And it went on, there's other things that he told. So Prahlad Maharaj, he's saying, you need to come in connection with a devotee, as I did. That's where I got it. You want to know where I got it? Bhaktya sanjataya bhaktya. When my mother was pregnant with me, I was in the ashram of Narada. And what was happening at that time? Realizing he's the son of a great demon, the gods thought, as soon as he's born, we'll kill him. So that they didn't, it wasn't abortion, but it was going to be infanticide. That's what their plan was. Until, what was it? Kayadu. And Narada, no, at that time Narada shows up and says, no, you don't understand. Narada, who's got that X-ray vision. Inside the womb of Kayadu is the Mahajan, one of the 12 Mahajans, authorities on religion. You want to kill the Mahajan? Please. And because they believe in the vision of Narada, Hare Krishna, a little boy appears. Because they believe in Narada, they accept that. But in the womb of Narada saying so many things, the mother's hearing, serving, and all Prahlad is awakened to his divine position and realization by the grace of another devotee, Narada. This is also a Mahajan. Narada, Kapilo, Manu, Swayambhu, Narada, Shambhu, whatever. Prahlad, Janaka, Bhishma, Bali, Dharmaraj, Yamaraj. But in Prahlad's line, later, demon, devotee, like that. Bali Maharaj also, Mahajan. So Prahlad's saying, really, it's only by the grace of a devotee that I've got all of this. That's where it came from. And then when Hiranyakashipu realizes Prahlad's a hopeless case, and not only that, he's polluting the other children, then he decides to kill him. They try to kill Prahlad in so many ways. We know he's tortured in so many ways. Where's the parallel with Brahma Haridas? But not anything they do, it doesn't even mess up a hair on Prahlad Maharaj. He's not injured in any way. They try and spear him, boil him, burn him. Not possible. It's like Bhagavad Gita. Nainam chindanti shastrani. Soul can't be cut, burned, etc. So someone who has an aprakrita deho, spiritual, that can't happen to them either, really. And they bring Prahlad before Hiranyakashipu and they're saying, we've tried everything in the book and then some, and we can't. Hiranyakashipu is kind of impressed, but also worried and saying, where do you get this power, Prahlad? What does Prahlad say? The same place you get your power. Well, he's saying, and that would be Vishnu, my enemy, my sworn enemy, Vishnu. Yes, that's where actually everything comes from, directly or indirectly. Right? Everyone's got something, and that's where you've got it. And he's saying, oh, and we're told at one point, where did Vishnu hide? Because they thought, this Vishnu is a coward, I heard he's hiding. He hid in the heart of Hiranyakashipu. Why? Because he thought, it's the last place he would look, was in his heart. But anyway, so he's asking about, where is he? And this is where Guru Maharaj says, what is the infinite? Everywhere center, nowhere circumference. Everywhere and everything. You don't have to go to some place. You just need to begin this type of culture. Tracing everything back to the central conception of the infinite. So, he's saying he's everywhere, Father. Really? And like that pillar there, we have our own pillar to serve in this capacity. They're in a castle, and he's saying, is he in this pillar? And Prahlad says with great confidence, yes. And Guru Maharaj says, now, what Hiranyakashipu's zeitgeist, Weltanschauung, whatever, the way he sees things, is going to be proved false. And the way Prahlad sees things is going to be proved true. And if Prahlad's not talking in just some general, like, well, God's everywhere, man, kind of way. No, he really believes and can understand his Lord is there. That's what I put that where Guru Maharaj says, like, try and cultivate that seeing where you understand the person who's full of love and affection for you is always with you and with everything. Don't be afraid under any circumstances. And Prabhupada said in one place, and every devotee brings a little something different to the story. He said, Prahlad could see Nrsimhadev peeping, like peeping, like, yes. So he's not just talking in some theoretical way. And interestingly, on this day at the Radharaman temple, they tell a story of Gopal Bhatta, that on this day he went to sleep saying, he had these 12 shelagrams. This is what they say. They say, and he's saying, out of the love of Prahlad, the Lord came out of stone. And I'm such a hard-hearted man. The Lord doesn't reveal himself to me. And that's the evening. We're in a dream. There's no, Gopal, I have revealed myself to you. You're not anything less than Prahlad. And he goes and looks, and there's 11 shelagrams. And the 12th one is Radha Raman. And he's very happy. But Guru Maharaj said, not for anyone and everyone he's coming out. But what does it say? Gurudev would always vibrate these slokas. I feel ashamed to not commit them to memory. But the Nija Britra Basitam, to show that what his servant is saying is true. That's why Krishna comes. He wants to show what my devotee says is true. That out of the love for, and also to stop this abuse. But it's told really to show that what the devotee says is true. It's a higher truth. It's the highest truth. It's the ultimate truth. When they said, Guru Maharaj tested the Gaudiya Mat devotee, on Gaura Purnima, you're worshipping Mahaprabhu, and he's Krishna's in the deity, Mahaprabhu's in the deity, or some representation. What do you say? Sakshat Brajendra Nandana Hari. Deha Dehi Vibedo Yam Nesrare Vidite Krishna. No, the deity is Krishna. Not present, it is Krishna. Then Guru Maharaj said, then how come all the senior devotees are upstairs with your Guru Maharaj and the lower devotee is here tending to the deity? And Guru Maharaj said, but that man trained by Gaudiya Mat, he said, because yes, Krishna is here, Mahaprabhu is here, but what is your capacity to appreciate that? Is very little. Saying, but he's also in the heart of our Guru Maharaj with greater magnitude, greater intensity, and more accessible by his grace. And that's why all the servitors, the superior servitors, are with him. So from the heart of the devotee, because of the heart of Prahlad Maharaj, Nrsimhadev appears. And we're talking, what? With a heart-cracking sound. When he comes, the pillar, Hiranyakashipu goes to strike the pillar with his sword, the pillar breaks open, and Nrsimhadev comes out roaring. Right? To the point of what? Some Brahmin lady had a miscarriage, and her husband cursed, and we said, and how Leela, it's all connected and divine, and it's like, for what do you call it, like, what's the next movie, like when they end some movie, the sequel, right? So the sequel there, when he says, you will forget who you are in a future life. The sequel, what? Ramayan, when Ramachandra, forgetting he's God, identifying with the role of a king. Guru Maharaj makes that as a side point. But anyway, Nrsimha comes out, Nrsimhadev, and keeping intact what Brahma said. All that insurance policy, all the checks. So they fight for some time. At one point, sometimes Nrsimhadev will let him go, like cats do that, right? They play with their prey, and then they let him go for a while, and then they catch him again. Everything goes back to the infinite. So sometimes Nrsimhadev is saying, oh, he's afraid of me. Fool. And then Nrsimhadev, it says at one point, starts laughing wildly, maniacally. And that scares Hiranyakashipu, like, oh, he's not afraid. It's like playing with me. Then finally, after enough play, Nrsimhadev positions himself, grabs him, puts him on his lap. So it's not inside or out, it's not in the sky or on the land, it's on his lap. Where is it? On the threshold of the doorway, not inside or outside. Right? Tavakara kamalabarenakam, his lotus palms have nails. They're like lotus flowers that have sharp nails at the end of the petals. And all those other things, right? Day or night, inside, outside, not by a man nor an animal. Nrsimha. Singha, lion, Nara, man, half lion. Right? And he rips him apart. And what does he do? Garland himself with the intestines. There's blood on the mane, different places. He's roaring, like, you dare insult my dear devotee like this. Dear child devotee. And all the gods assemble, Brahma, Shiva, everyone. And they think, how to pacify Nrsimhadev? Lakshmi is there, of Lakshmi Nrsimha. Sanatana Goswami Prabhu says in his Brihad Bhagavatamritam Teek, actually she could pacify him, but she doesn't, because it's time for Prahlad Maharaj, a spotlight on Prahlad, who pure devotion. So when Brahma offers wonderful prayer, Shiva is still, he's roaring, angry, can't be pacified. They push Prahlad forward. And only Prahlad Maharaj can pacify him. Then Nrsimhadev becomes calm, he's patting Prahlad Maharaj, put him on his lap. Gurudev said, licking him with love and affection, and offers him a boon. Right? And what happens? Whatever you want, Prahlad, for this steadfast devotion you've shown, remembering me under all circumstances, the personification of Smaranam. Right? Whatever you desire, I'm willing to offer that to you. What does he say? Prahlad's feelings are hurt. Na sabritra sabai banik. I'm an aspiring servitor. I'm not a businessman. I wasn't remembering you to get something from you, worshiping you to get something from you. I'm your aspiring servant. And that's why Saraswati Thakur at the, what do you call that? The island between Radha Kund and Shama Kund, spoke on Prahlad Charit, to say foundation, pure devotion. You need a strong foundation. This is the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Shuddha Bhakti, Shuddha Bhakta, Prahlad, appears. And then things will develop further from there to go toward the 10th canto and the Madhura Rasa pastimes of Krishna with his mother and father, friends, and pals, and the Braja Gopis, and like that. So, Hare Krishna. We have Tavakara Kamalabarena Kam Madbhuta Sringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanobringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare. And we can sing a couple of songs now. Nrsimha Bhagavan ki jai, Nrsimha-chaturdasi ki jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Bhakti Vinyasana, Nrsimhadev ki jai. Namaste Nrsimhaya. Namaste Nrsimhaya. Pralaladaladayine. Hiranyakashipu Bhaksaha Silatam Kana Kalai Ito Nrsimha Padato Nrsimha Jato Jato Yamin Jato Nrsimha Bahir Nrsimha Hridaye Nrsimha Nrsimhamadhim Sharanam Prapadye Tava Karakamala Varena Kamadutta Sringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringam Kesavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Tava Karakamala Varena Kamadutta Sringam Hiranyakashipu Tanubringam Kesavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jai Nrsimhadev, Jai Nrsimhadev, Jai Nrsimhadev, Jai Nrsimhadev. Jai Nrsimhadev, Jai Nrsimhadev, Jai Nrsimhadev, Jai Nrsimhadev. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, go to Hari Bo. Nitai go Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, go to Hari Bo. Jai Nrsimha-chaturdasi ki jai, Nrsimha Bhagavan ki jai, Lakshmi Nrsimha ki jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribrajaka Siddhartha Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki jai. Jai Saparikar Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Govinda Sundar Jiva ki jai. Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki jai. Shri Gupta Govardhan ki jai. Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Go Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Navaditam ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki jai. Ganga Devi Jamuna Devi Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi ki jai. Om Vishnupad Vishva Varenya Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Nirmal Acharya Maharaj ki jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadut Maharaj ki jai. Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. Nrsimha Bhagavan ki jai. Sri Nrsimha-chaturdasi ki jai. The Buddha Purnima ki jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Seva Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Go Premanande. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Offer the bow.